Remember when Nickelodeon ruled your TV screen and your biggest worry was missing the next episode of Drake and Josh or Zoe 101? Those were the days. Snacks in hand, hearts full of dreams, and your favorite teen stars lighting up the screen like they were destined for Hollywood royalty. But then, poof, just like that, some of them vanished. No headlines, no scandals. Well, not all of them. Just a quiet fade into the background. Where did they go? One minute, they were the face of your childhood. The next, they're dodging paparazzi or flipping pancakes in peace somewhere in Montana. Some chose to walk away. Others got swallowed up by fame's cruel aftershock. And a few, their stories will hit harder than a rerun of The Amanda Show at 3 a.m. So grab your orange soda and buckle up, because we're about to take a trip down memory lane and maybe even unearth a few familiar faces you forgot you missed. Here are 10 Nickelodeon stars who fell off the map, but left a permanent mark on our 90s and 2000s hearts. Get ready, because this list has twists you never saw coming. If you grew up watching iCarly, then Jeanette McCurdy, aka The Tough, bacon-loving Sam Puckett, was your spirit animal. She was loud, hilarious, always had a comeback, and practically carried the comedic weight of the show on her back. Fans expected her to skyrocket into iCarly and its spinoff, Sam and Cat, especially alongside Ariana Grande. But instead of launching into more stardom, Jeanette quietly stepped away from the spotlight, and for a while, no one knew why. Turns out behind all the laughs and on-screen sass was a young woman battling inner turmoil. In 2022, she released her bombshell memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died, and the world finally understood. Her retreat from acting wasn't random. It was a necessary escape from years of emotional abuse, pressure, and trauma. Jeanette revealed she never even wanted to be an actress. It was her mother's dream, not hers. Since then, Jeanette has reinvented herself on her own terms. She's now a New York Times bestselling author, a podcast host, and a powerful voice for mental health and healing. She may have fallen off the map in Hollywood terms, but in reality, she's just charted her own course, one that doesn't require a laugh track to matter. Josh Peck was the guy who made awkward teenhood look charming. As the lovable goofball Josh Nicholas on Drake and Josh, he delivered punchlines, life lessons, and the occasional, hug me brother, with absolute perfection. Fans adored his transformation from the chubby kid with a heart of gold into a confident young adult. So when the show ended, everyone expected Josh to dominate the comedy scene, or at least show up in every feel-good movie ever made. But instead of Hollywood domination, Josh quietly stepped out of the limelight. He popped up in a few indie films and made a YouTube channel, but nothing compared to his Nickelodeon fame. Things felt quiet. Was Josh fading into the land of forgotten teen stars? Not quite. Turns out, Josh was reinventing himself in real time on the internet. He leaned into YouTube, TikTok, and vlogging, building a massive following by being, well, Josh. Raw, funny, relatable Josh. He shared stories about his awkward Hollywood years, his struggles with weight, addiction, and finding purpose after fame. And then, plot twist, he came back. Josh landed roles in shows like How I Met Your Father, voiced characters in animated films, wrote a memoir, and showed up on red carpets again, not as the sidekick, but as someone who survived childhood stardom with humor and grace. Josh Peck didn't fall off the map. He just found a different way to navigate it. Back in the early 2000s, Zoe 101 was peak Nickelodeon, and Jamie Lynn Spears was its golden girl. As Zoe Brooks, she was cool, confident, and had every middle schooler dreaming of attending a boarding school on the beach. Being Britney Spears' little sister didn't hurt either. It seemed like Jamie Lynn was on the fast track to superstardom. But then, out of nowhere, the headlines dropped. 16 and pregnant. Just like that, Zoe 101 was over, and Jamie Lynn disappeared from the spotlight. Fans were stunned. Some unfairly blamed her for the ending of the show, while others just couldn't believe that the girl who played perfect Zoe was navigating teen motherhood. Instead of riding the fame wave, Jamie Lynn moved back to Louisiana, swapping red carpets for diapers, and focused on raising her daughter, far away from cameras and chaos. Years later, she resurfaced, this time in country music. She released a few singles, performed at the Grand Ole Opry, and even dropped a heartfelt EP, but her music career never quite reached the heights of her acting days. And when Britney's conservatorship saga exploded, Jamie Lynn was thrown back into the public eye, and not in a good way. Accusations flew, family drama spilled everywhere, and suddenly, Zoe wasn't so squeaky clean. She made a brief return in the 2023 Zoe 102 reunion, but it wasn't exactly a triumphant comeback, more like a nostalgic footnote. So did Jamie Lynn fall off the map? Technically yes, but maybe that's exactly what she wanted, a life outside the chaos, even if it meant walking away from the fame she once inherited. Once upon a Nickelodeon time, Drake Bell was the cool older brother every kid wanted. With his shaggy hair, guitar skills, and effortless charm on Drake and Josh, he was a teenage icon. He wasn't just acting, he was releasing music, winning awards, and starring in movie spin-offs. Drake seemed destined for a long, shiny career, but then the headlines started getting darker. After Drake and Josh ended, his career didn't vanish immediately. He released albums, voiced Spider-Man in the animated shows, and even did a few indie films. But nothing quite hit the same way again. And behind the scenes, things were unraveling. There were reports of financial troubles, DUIs, and public spats with co-stars, including a very public fallout with Josh Peck after not being invited to his wedding. Then came the real shocker. In 2021, Drake was arrested and later pleaded guilty to involving inappropriate behavior with a minor. Suddenly, the goofy teen heartthrob many had grown up loving was making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Fans were heartbroken, confused, and angry. Since then, Drake is laid low. He moved to Mexico for a while, changed his professional name to Drake Campagna, and began releasing Spanish-language music, but the damage was done. Drake Bell didn't just fall off the map, he fell hard. And while some fans still cling to the nostalgia of his Nickelodeon days, it's clear that the boy who once sang "I Found a Way" lost his way somewhere along the road to adulthood. If there was a Nickelodeon Mount Rushmore, Amanda Bynes would be front and center. From All That to The Amanda Show, she wasn't just funny, she was a comedic force. Her impressions, timing, and wild sketches made her a household name. By her teens, she was starring in hit movies like What a Girl Wants, She's the Man, and Hairspray. Amanda Bynes wasn't just surviving post-Nickelodeon, she was thriving. And then she disappeared, but not quietly. By the early 2010s, Amanda's public image had taken a nosedive. A string of bizarre tweets, legal troubles, public outbursts, and drastic appearance changes had fans worried. The girl who once made us laugh until we cried was now making headlines for mental health struggles, substance abuse, and erratic behavior. The media had a field day, but behind the chaos was a young woman clearly in crisis. Amanda was later placed under conservatorship, similar to Britney Spears. She went to rehab, studied fashion, and began working toward recovery, largely out of the spotlight. Occasionally, she'd resurface online, sparking hope for a comeback, but it never quite materialized. Her once promising career was quietly left behind, like a sketch that ran too long. In 2022, Amanda's conservatorship ended, and she began speaking more openly about her journey. She's been candid about her struggles and expressed interest in creating again, but on her own terms. This lovely actor didn't just fall off the map. She was pushed, stumbled, got back up, and is still finding her footing. Her story is more than a headline. It's a reminder that even the brightest stars can burn out, but they can also reignite. Remember Ned's Declassified School Survivor Guide? Of course you do. It was the ultimate how-to for surviving middle school chaos. And Devon Workshire was the face of it all. As Ned Bigby, he was quirky, relatable, and had a guide for everything, from surviving gym class to dodging pop quizzes. Fans were sure he'd be Nickelodeon's next breakout star. But after the show wrapped in 2007, Devon kind of disappeared. No major roles, no blockbuster career, just silence. For a while, it felt like Ned forgot to write a survival tip for life after Nickelodeon. But Devon didn't fall off. He pivoted. He turned to music, releasing indie pop tracks, writing heartfelt lyrics, and performing for a loyal niche audience. He also dabbled in acting and voice work and started a podcast focused on self-growth and mental health. While the mainstream spotlight dimmed, Devon leaned into authenticity instead of fame. In recent years, he's embraced the nostalgia, reconnecting with fans through TikTok and even teasing a potential Ned's reboot. Devon may not be topping box office charts, but he carved out a life that works for him. And for those of us who grew up with this guy, that's pretty cool. As Trina Vega on Victorious, Daniela Monáe played the hilariously untalented older sister with delusional star power, and she nailed it. While Trina may have been tone-deaf and drama-prone, Daniela had real talent, comedic timing, and a fan base that expected to see her everywhere post-Nickelodeon. But instead of chasing A-list fame, Daniela quietly stepped out of the spotlight. After Victorious ended, she voiced characters in Fairly Odd Parents, hosted a few Nickelodeon game shows, and appeared in minor film roles. But her career never hit the highs many expected. Instead, she found purpose elsewhere. Daniela became a passionate vegan activist, launching a cruelty-free beauty brand, and focused on her family life. She's now a mom of two, a wellness advocate, and a prominent voice in the plant-based living space. While she's still active on social media and occasionally pops up in nostalgic Nickelodeon throwbacks, Daniela seems perfectly content living a quieter, more grounded life, far from the bright lights of Hollywood. She didn't fall off the map, she just redrew it. Trina Vega may have wanted to be famous no matter what, but Daniela Monáe chose peace, purpose, and authenticity instead. And honestly, that's the real glow-up. Jake T. Austin had it. The looks, the charm, and a resume packed with promise. While many remember him as Max Russo on Disney's Wizards of Waverly Place, Nickelodeon fans knew him first as the voice of Diego in Go Diego Go. He was everywhere: TV, animated shows, even teen magazines. He seemed destined for a long and flashy Hollywood career. After Disney, Jake landed a role on ABC's Family's The Fosters, but in a surprising twist, he left after just 2 seasons. Rumors swirled, creative differences, lack of screen time, or maybe just a desire for something bigger. But instead of bouncing into a blockbuster, Jake all but vanished. He made a few low-key appearances, tried his hand at voice work, and even competed on Dancing with the Stars, but nothing stuck. His social media presence quieted down, and casting directors stopped calling. It's like he stepped away from the industry entirely. No scandals, no meltdowns, just silence. Jake didn't crash and burn. He faded quietly. And while fans still hope for a comeback, it seems like this former child star traded fame for privacy. Maybe Diego finally took his own adventure off camera and far away from the spotlight. As Andre Harris on Victorious, Leon Thomas III was the smooth piano-playing genius everyone wished they had as a best friend. He had talent oozing from every episode. Singing, songwriting, acting, producing. It wasn't just a question of if he'd blow up, but when. But unlike some of his co-stars who launched pop careers or landed big acting roles, Leon didn't chase the spotlight. Instead, he took a different path, behind the scenes. While fans wondered where he went, Leon was quietly building a music empire, co-writing and producing songs for major artists like Ariana Grande, Drake, Post Malone, and Toni Braxton. Yes, that Leon. He even earned a Grammy nomination for his work on Toni Braxton and Babyface collaborative album, something few Nickelodeon alumni can claim. He still releases music under his own name, but he's clearly more interested in shaping the sound of the industry than being its frontman. Leon traded red carpets for studio sessions, for legacy. You may not see his face everywhere, but his fingerprints are all over today's biggest hits. And honestly, that might be the coolest move of all. Miranda Cosgrove was Nickelodeon royalty. From mischievous Megan and Drake and Josh to the iconic Carly Shay in iCarly, she was everywhere, and for good reason. She had the rare mix of charm, comedic timing, and a built-in fan base that adored her. At one point, she was even the highest-paid child actress on TV. A music career followed, and everything pointed to a seamless transition into adult stardom. But then, silence. After iCarly wrapped in 2012, Miranda stepped away from the spotlight. While other teen stars chased the next big thing, she enrolled at USC, studied psychology, and largely kept a low profile. Sure, there were occasional guest roles and voice work, like on Despicable Me, but nothing came close to her Nickelodeon heyday. Fans wondered, where is she? In 2021, she finally returned for the iCarly reboot, but with a twist. This time, she was an executive producer, calling the shots. It was a smart, more mature move that proved she hadn't vanished, she'd evolved. So now we have to ask, what happens when your childhood fame fades? Do you disappear, or do you finally get to become who you were meant to be all along? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section below. And that's it from us today. Until next time, thank you for watching.